I may have talked about this on this channel, but it's been a long time, and I don't know how many of you were around then. So I'm going to talk about this. 2 years ago, there was a teenage girl in South Carolina who sued her school district, and she said she was physically assaulted by a teacher because she did not say the Pledge of Allegiance. And her family sued over all of this. And the reason I want to bring it up to you is because this case just saw its ending after 2 years. It's been in my head this entire time, and I was so excited to see that there's finally some resolution to it. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me share this with you. What happened 2 years ago is that there was a girl who's 15 years old. Her name is Marissa Barnwell, and I'm saying her name because her family went public with all this. And Marissa is a Black girl who is an honor roll student at River Bluff High School in South Carolina. And what happened is that she said she was walking to her class on her birthday in November of 2022. And I don't know why she was late to class, if there was something going on in the morning, but she was walking to class, and all of a sudden the Pledge of Allegiance starts playing over the school's intercom. Now, if you're in the classroom, everyone's supposed to stand and say the pledge, but South Carolina says you don't have to stand, you don't have to say it, you just gotta not be disruptive, and that's fine. But she was in the hallway, so when the pledge starts playing, she just keeps walking to class. And apparently, other students were walking in the hallway too, but she was the only one singled out by a teacher named Nicole Livingston. And this is what they said in the lawsuit. Let me share this with you. That Marissa continued to walk silently in a non-disruptive manner to her class throughout the remainder of the Pledge of Allegiance and into the call to remain standing for a moment of silence. When Marissa was walking to her class, defendant Nicole Livingston violated Marissa's constitutional rights by yelling and demanding that Marissa stop walking and physically assaulting her by pushing Marissa on the wall and forcefully touching her in an unwanted way without her consent so that she would stop walking in recognition of the Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence that was announced at the conclusion of the pledge. So that's the allegation that was made against this teacher. Really disturbing stuff. And, you would think, wow, this is going to be even more disturbing if there was video footage. And it turns out there was video footage. I'm not going to play it for you, mostly because there's no audio and it's really grainy. But in the video footage, like the security camera footage from the school, you could see the teacher basically doing what that lawsuit said, pushing Marissa against the wall. Now, the lawsuit also pointed out that the principal, she was taken to the principal's office, and the principal, Jacob Smith, said he's going to review video footage, but he never actually pointed out that what Marissa did by just walking was legal. He just apparently offered her some food and sent her back to class. He never even called her parents, not at the time and not even after they filed the lawsuit. And so in March of 2023, they held a press conference. The family held a press conference with their lawyer, and the whole family spoke out about this. Here's what they said at the time. "I was just in disbelief," Marissa Barnwell said. "You can hear me say in the video, 'Get your hands off of me.' When Barnwell told the principal, Smith, what happened, he told her that he would review the video footage and send her back to class. She called her mother in tears. I was completely and utterly disrespected," Barnwell said at a news conference Thursday. "No one has apologized. No one has acknowledged my hurt. The fact that the school is defending that kind of behavior is unimaginable." So very disturbing. I mean, yeah, very disturbing. I would also point out that her parents were shocked to learn what happened, and since that time, they've been demanding accountability from the school. They said that accountability never came, and one of the reasons they filed the lawsuit is because they said the school was creating an unreasonable risk of harm to students. I don't know if Livingston, that teacher, even works at that school anymore, but there's no indication to me she was ever punished in any meaningful way. And this is another thing to point out here. This is also from the lawsuit. Check this out. Notwithstanding actions taken by Nicole Livingston In assaulting Marissa and violating her constitutional rights, the school district, the superintendent, and the principal continued to employ and retain Nicole Livingston, took no measures to ensure she was not allowed to assault students or continue to force, demand, coerce, or attempt to force, coerce, or demand students into reciting the pledge or engaging in conduct she deems fit during the moment of silence, nor did they take any measures to ensure the safety, security, and constitutional rights of students wishing to exercise their First Amendment rights during the Pledge of Allegiance. So the school district did nothing, is the point of all this. So this was not about protecting Marissa's right to not say the pledge. This family was interested in protecting students from the adults who were supposed to look out after them. And that's before you even consider the racial element to all this. River Bluff is a school where roughly 3/4 of the students are white. And Marissa believed she was singled out, even though she wasn't the only student walking in the hallways. She was singled out because she's Black. And she said during the press conference that her Black friends had experienced similar feelings of racism over the years, though none involved the teacher physically assaulting them. So this is why they sued. They sued the school district for being negligent, careless, reckless, grossly negligent. They said the district violated Marissa's civil rights and the First Amendment, and they wanted actual, incidental, consequential, and punitive damages, right? And by the way, I know this is not important, but in case you're wondering, why doesn't Marissa say the Pledge of Allegiance? Is it because of under God? The answer is no. She actually told reporters during that press conference that once she realized that a lot of people in this country do not have liberty and justice for all, she decided she did not want to say the pledge, which is amazing of her. By the way, that's a reason that a lot of Black students over the decades have given for not wanting to say the pledge. So why do I bring all this up? I bring this up because finally, this week, the two sides decided to settle the case. They decided they didn't want this to go to court or a trial or whatever. And they decided to just, let's deal with this privately. And one of the things I found interesting, before I tell you what the settlement was, is there were things said in their settlement agreement I did not know about beforehand. Check this out. Defendant Livingston then escorted Marissa to the office of the principal. I'll come back to this. Remember what we learned before. We said Marissa was taken to the principal's office. The principal said he would review the video footage, then sent her on her way. Look at what the settlement agreement points out. Defendant Smith questioned Marissa about her patriotism, asking her if she loved her country. Defendant Smith effectively held Marissa in his office, pressuring her to abandon her silent objection to the pledge. Efforts that both punished Marissa's lawful exercise of her constitutional rights and served to chill her future actions. I did not know any of that before, but it seems like the principal's the bad guy in all this too. What the hell is that guy doing? So anyway, what did the two sides decide? They decided, and I'll show you this right here, that the school district will pay a total sum of $75,000 to the Barnwells. The district is going to pay that family $75,000, and the family agrees to drop the case after that. That's the bottom line. And if you read the fine print of that settlement agreement, it said about $47,000 will be set aside for Marissa for when she turns 18, and the rest of it is going to pay for their legal fees. So there you go. It is some measure of justice for what the district put Marissa through and her family through, but the settlement does not include any formal apology from the school district. Nothing from the teacher or the principal. There's no acknowledgement that any of those people did anything wrong. And as of right now, last I checked, the school district has not issued any sort of statement about this settlement at all. I think they were just hoping no one would notice and it would all go away. So I'm making this video to hopefully show them, nope, still paying attention. What you did was wrong. I did reach out to the family's attorney to see if he had any comment about the settlement or if the family had anything to say. He did not respond to me. So, I mean, I wish the best to Marissa and her family. I appreciate that they fought this, and I'm glad they got. I hope this settlement is to their liking, and that it provides some measure of justice for the family. Okay, I'm going to stop there with this story. What questions we got here? You mean Karen Livingston? I don't know if I like that. Like, I don't know if I need to, as someone with a name that can easily get made fun of, we don't need to do that. But I was curious what that lady was doing, Nicole Livingston. Like, I couldn't find her in the district, like, yellow pages. And I don't actually know what she's doing now. I don't know if she ever got any consequences for being involved in this. I don't know. By the way, she was a special ed teacher. I don't know if she's still doing that either. When I read Hammond's article about this, I kept asking why Livingston was not charged with assault. Regardless of the reason for the physical contact, it's assault. Yeah, it's a fair point, and I don't know the answer to that because the school has been very hush-hush about it. They're allowed to be, but it's an employee thing. We're taking care of it. I don't know what the reason is. If you go to The State, which is the name of the newspaper that covered this story, they're the ones that had the video, the grainy footage, and I don't know how that teacher just got off without any punishment, but I don't know what it would be. People like her should not be teaching. Agreed. Hell, they should not be allowed to be around children in any capacity. I totally agree with you, and that's why it was so disturbing. She's not just a teacher, she's a special ed teacher. She works with vulnerable students to begin with, and if that's how you're acting, I don't even care if it was at school. If I found out that's how this lady was acting at home with her own kids, I would be disturbed. So I don't know what the school was thinking.